Jambo Uzuri Watoto, which means hello, beautiful children in Swahili, and welcome to Family Rewards of Life. My name is Gloria Kirkland Holmes. I am your hostess, and today, don't touch that dial. We have some very beautiful children from the Dr. Walter Cunningham School for Excellence, located in Waterloo, Iowa. And we're going to go to our guests and have them introduce themselves. And accompanying these students today, we will have the personnel from the Dr. Walter Cunningham School of Excellence. We introduce themselves, and the very fine principal there is Mr. Craig Sadler. All right, so let's start with Cassidy. Cassidy, can you tell our friends in Radio Land your first and your last name and how old you are?
My name is Cassidy Demetrius, and I am 7 years old.
Thank you, Cassidy. And right next to Cassidy, do we have Naya? Right, Naya?
Hi, my name is Naya, and Naya Arsenal, and I'm 8.
Thank you, Naya. And let's go to our friend, is it Sanaya? Okay, Sanaya.
My name is Sanaya Robinson, and I am 8 years old.
Very good, thank you, Sanaya. And right next to Sanaya is, all right, Damariana. Anna. Damariana, will you introduce yourself, please?
My name is Damariana Nix, and I am 9 years old.
Thank you, Damariana. And Tatiana, is that how you say your name? Tatiana? Tatiana, okay, Tatiana.
My name is Tatiana Welder, and I'm 7 years old.
Very good, thank you so much for such great introductions. And accompanying these students today, we have Miss.
My name is Miss Naomi Moore, and I am the second grade instructional strategist.
Thank you. And also, along with these children, is Mr.
Mr. Ryan Christopher, I'm the literacy coach at Cunningham.
All right, and we are so happy to have you all along with these students, and welcome to Family Rewards of Life. And we're going to begin today by asking our students some questions. For those of you out in Radio Land, again, these students are from the Dr. Walter E. Cunningham School for Excellence, located in Waterloo, Iowa. So tell us, let's begin with our friend Naya this time. Naya, what is an author study?
An author study is when you study on an author.
All right. So can you give us the name of maybe one author you know or you've learned about?
Jerry Potter.
All right. Thank you. And let's see. Since she gave us the name of an author, tell us another author. Do you know another author that you've studied about? Can you tell us the name?
We've also been studying Mike Brown.
Say that name one more time.
Mike Brown.
Oh, Mark Brown. All right, thank you. Okay, let's go to our friend Sanaya.
This week I've been studying, my author study is Mark Brown.
Mark Brown? All right, we're going to find out a little bit more about Mark Brown in just a minute. Help me with your name again? Damariana. Will you tell us an author that maybe you know or you studied about?
We've studied lots of authors, so I can't really
Can't remember because there were so many of them. All right, but Mark Brown was one that you studied also?
Yes.
All right. And you were trying to help her out there. You remember the name of another author? Okay.
We did Shel Silverstein and Jack Lowski.
Oh, and those Shel Silverstein books, those are, do you remember the name of one of those books? I like to read some of those.
A Light in the Attic, Shel Silverstein.
Yeah, and that's one that's very popular. Many, many children like to read that one. All right. Let's go back to Mark Brown, since some of you have been learning and studying about Mark Brown. What have you learned about Mark Brown, Cassidy? What is something that you learned about Mark Brown?
He writes author books.
Thomas Arthur books. All right. Tell us something else that you know. Thank you, Cassidy. Naya, what is something else that you know about Mark Brown?
That sometimes he writes chapters for Arthur books.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to our friend Sanaya. Sanaya, what is something else you know about Mark Brown?
Mark Brown writes Arthur books, and one of his books is called Arthur New Baby.
I think I might know that one. What happened in that book?
That Arthur was afraid that because all his friends kept on like telling him some things like you're going to have to change his Panthers things.
Do any of you have a baby sister or brother at home? Oh, well, let's ask this question. Those comments that were made in that book about when a new baby comes, were they telling the truth in that book about some of the things that might happen with the new baby? Let's ask Tatiana. Tatiana,
Yes.
you have a baby sister or brother at home?
I have two sisters and one brother.
Oh, they're all younger than you. Okay, so you know about babies. Tell us about
I still have one that's 1 year younger than me.
Okay, so tell us about these babies. Since they were having this book is about the new baby, Arthur's new baby. Tell us what you learned about babies at your house.
That sometimes when they cry, they don't just want one thing.
They may not just want one thing. Can you give us an example, like?
Like one time a baby brother, he wanted a bottle and then he wanted me to pick him up. So.
That's an excellent, those are two excellent examples of, that's true, the baby, even after the bottle, getting the bottle might want something else. That's a great comment. Okay, I said they had a baby sister or brother. Tell us about your baby at your house. Let's see, Naya.
I have two sisters, but one is like 4 years old and one is like a baby, and every time she doesn't want, every morning she doesn't want my mom to pick her up. She wants me to pick her up every morning and take her downstairs so she can get her clothes on.
So you are special to your sister, very, very special. And she wants you to be the one to take her downstairs. So babies sometimes have what they call preferences. Sometimes they love everybody in the family, but then there's a special person to do special things for that baby. All right, who else said they had a sister? A baby? You have a baby at your house too? Let's see, Sanaya.
Yes, I have a baby brother. His name is Marcus Jr., but for his nickname we call him MJ. The things that they said in the book Arthur New Baby was true, because sometimes I have to change my baby brother's diaper, and also he likes to get snacks and things.
Okay, what's your baby brother's favorite snack or snacks? What are some of his favorite snacks?
Brownies.
Brownies, okay. So he probably knows that smell when he smells those brownies coming from somewhere, the oven, or if someone's bringing it. All right, thank you so much, Sanaya. Who else? You have a baby brother or sister at home? DeMariano, okay.
I have a baby brother.
All right, tell us about your baby brother.
He likes me to do things for him.
All right, tell us some things that maybe your baby brother likes you to do for him.
Sometimes he tells me to get food and snacks down for him.
Now tell us why you think your baby brother tells you to get it down for him.
Because he can't reach it.
That's right. So that job can be very important if something is up very high and the baby can't reach it. Some things moms and dads and family members don't want the babies to reach yet because they might not know how many cookies to get out of the cookie jar. Okay. All right, thank you. So that was a very special book by Mark Brown, especially about the new baby. Did you all learn the title of any of Mark Brown's other books, author books? All right, tell us one. Let's see,
Well,
that is Tatiana.
he made a book called Arthur's Halloween.
What happened in that book?
Well, there was this one scary house. It just looked scary, but once they went in it, it wasn't scary at all.
So, okay, if the house looked scary from the outside,
Yes.
but when they got inside, what did they find?
All they did was like find. It was kind of decorated, but once we went all the way down the hall and went into the room, they see the kitchen, and there wasn't no, they thought it was a witch house, so that it wasn't no witch or nothing. So and all of Arthur's friends thought that he would die in there, so.
So it was their imagination? Okay, so that's another very cool book by Arthur. Okay, about Arthur. All right, let's go to Naya, and then we're going to come to you, DeMariana. Okay.
I know one book from Mark Brown is author's underwear.
Oh, what happens in that one?
First, his friend Buster, he comes to him and has no pants on, and then Arthur loses his pants.
Wait a minute. Let me see if I can get this story straight in my mind. So how did the story begin? What happened? I don't understand what happened in the beginning of the story.
It's been like a long time, but I don't really remember.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure out what happened with the underwear, because when the story started, did Arthur have his pants on then? Maybe?
I think so.
Okay, then something happened. You know what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, help us out.
In the beginning, it was happening to Buster, and he kept coming to school with no pants on. And then Arthur said he wished it would never happen to him. And then when he woke up in the morning, he put on his pants, and when he made it to school, he didn't have any pants on.
So what happened to his pants? Did they fall off on his way to school?
We don't know. It didn't tell us. I think it maybe got ripped off by something.
Oh, he didn't stop at climbing a tree, did he?
We don't know. We know that he left the house and he went to school, and then when he just started walking around, everybody started laughing, and then he looked down and his pants were gone.
Oh, will you help us out here, Tatiana? We just heard from DeMariana, and we also heard from Naya. Let's see, what else do you know about this story?
That Buster had it, and then Arthur had it, and he came to school with his pants off, and now everybody was laughing at him, and when he was on his way to school, he ran into a gate.
That's what happened to his pants. You solved that mystery. Huh, thank you. Okay, you wanted to add something else to that story?
But I have another book.
Okay, all right, you have another book? Let's see, who do we have here? Naya. Okay.
It's called Arthur's Family Vacation.
Oh, looks like some other friends know that story too. You know that book too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're going to help Naya out for just a minute. Okay, that's Sanaya. Okay.
At first, Arthur wanted to go to a vacation. So when they packed their clothes and they went to they went to the car and then put their stuff on top of the truck, and then the dad had asked that anybody had to use the bathroom. So then so when they got on the road, DW said I had to use the bathroom, but he asked the first time and she didn't have to.
Oh, so that was before they actually left to go on the vacation, or while they were already in the vehicle?
They was already in the car.
Okay, so bathroom time when you're traveling can be very important. All right, let's see. You wanted to add something to that story? Oh,
Well, I just want to say that in mostly all Arthur books, if there's like a mystery that happens, it can give you enough clues for you to infer.
well, you really are learning the real facts that I'm sure your teachers are very, very proud about. Okay, that's great. So when there are mysteries, there are usually some clues and facts there that you can infer from. That's very important for our friends at Radio Land. As you're reading some of the Mark Brown books and Arthur books, there's always a solution there. All right, you want to add something else, Sonali?
No, I have a different story. Is Arthur get lost in the museum?
Uh-oh. Arthur gets lost in the museum?
Yes.
Oh. How many of you have ever been lost in a store or a museum? Just maybe, oh, you were, okay. Well, we are glad that you were found. Okay, so what happened with Arthur and being lost in the museum?
Well, it's kind of like Arthur road trip or whatever. Like they went to the museum because they had a class trip, and then Arthur had to go use the bathroom, and then the teacher's trying to talk, and he kept on bothering the teacher, and then the teacher told him he can go to the bathroom. And he told him the directions, but he didn't follow the directions because he went the wrong way, and then he ended up, like, he went inside of a door, and there was, like, about the, Indians and the Pilgrims, and everybody saw him. All of his classmates saw him, and then they started laughing, and then he got in trouble by the teacher.
Oh, okay. So let me see for just a minute and see if Cassidy had another book, or did you want to add something to that story?
My book is,
Authors.
I'm going to add to Arthur's family vacation because, and when they went swimming, the pool wasn't too big. Their bathtub was bigger than the pool.
Oh my goodness. They had that great big bathtub where they were? And it was bigger than the pool. Did they practice swimming in the bathtub?
No, they went swimming in the pool.
Oh, that is funny, while they were on their vacation. All right, let's see who needs a turn now. Let's go to Tatiana, then Mariana, and then Naya. How's that? All right.
I wanted to talk about the Jan Brett books.
Okay, you want to talk about the Jan Brett books? So we're going to switch authors here for those of you out in Radio Land, and let's find out what happened with the Jan Brett books. All right.
Well, Jan Brett wrote a lot of Snow Whites, and in her classroom we see she made the mitten, so we seen how she made the mitten, and we see that we seen what her house looks like, and we see that her house has all of the animals that were inside of the mitten were inside of her house. They're like statues or they were like real.
So when you all saw them, did you look at a video or?
A
How-
video.
Oh, I bet that was pretty cool. Can you tell us just a little bit how she made those mittens? Did you learn about that too, Demario? How did she make mittens? How did she do the mittens or make the mittens?
She was using paint and marker.
Okay. So did you all get to try to make mittens? Some of you
Yeah,
did?
some of us, because I don't know if I was there that day.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Naya, you wanted to add something to that or a different book?
I wanted to do a different book from
Okay.
Gingerbread.
Okay.
The Gingerbread Man.
All right. And who's the author? Is that Jan Brett on that one?
Yes.
Okay.
We watched the video of her making the gingerbread man and her making a gingerbread man in the oven and her showing us how to like do the book. And we didn't try to make a gingerbread man. We just talked it about the book and what happened in the book and how he almost got caught by the fire.
Okay. Thank you. You want to add something to that, Sanaya?
No, I don't want to talk about Gail Gibbons.
Oh, another author. Well, just go right ahead. We're learning about all these different authors today.
Gail Gibbons write nonfiction books, and really I like fiction books better than nonfiction books because nonfiction books give you information, and then some not fiction books are like fairy tales, and that's one that we have been working on is fairy tales. And one of my favorite fairy tales is Snow White and Cinderella.
Okay, so you just helped us out. So the nonfiction books have what information you said?
Mm-hmm.
And then the fiction books have,
Like fairy tales in it.
okay.
And also fairy tales start with once upon a time and then they end with happily ever after.
Well, you have just taught us so much right there. Thank you for that great information. Wow. All right. So who needs to have a turn that I do not? Okay, Demariana, what would you like to share?
In our class, we've been doing poetry.
Well, tell us about that.
Our teacher, she has a lot of poetry books, and some people who want to keep their poetry book, she lets us keep it in our desks for the next day so we can read it. And sometimes she lets certain people come up in the front of the class if they found a poetry in their book that they want to share to the class.
Okay, so do you have a favorite poem that you
Yes.
like? Okay, what's one that you really like?
It's called You Have Been Stung by a Bee.
Can you say a little bit of it? Do you know a little part of it?
Yeah.
Okay, say it for us.
It was a man and he seen a bee and he got stung by a bee and the bee had stung him and left a message.
Okay, very important poem that the bee left a message. All right, who else is learning about poetry? Anybody else? Okay, how about you, Tatiana?
Well, I'm in her same class, so we learned when we're doing our author studies that every single day we do a different thing. Like we'll do something like onomatopoeia. Like we had to find something inside of the poem, and then we had to write it down on the paper. It will say what kind of animal or person uses that. And onomatopoeia is like bang or boom, stuff like that.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That's another cool thing about poetry. Finding something inside of a poem. All right. So we are kind of winding it down. And for those of you out in Radio Land, I hope that you have been listening to these children share about author studies and some of the books that they've been reading, and especially the author books. And then we moved to Jan Brett books, and then we moved to Gail Gibbons' book, and now we went to poetry. So this shows you that these children are learning so much in their classes about literacy, reading, authors, studying them, and how they might write and illustrate their books. All right, one last thing before we kind of wind it down today. When you grow up, what would you like to be in life? Or what do you think you might like to do? All right? All right, let's begin with Mariana.
When I grow up, I would like to be a singer and a dancer.
Okay. What kind of music do you like mostly?
I like rap and dance music.
Okay, thank you. How about you, Sanaya?
When I grow up, I would like to be a singer, dancer, hairstylist, and a teacher.
All right, you're going to make some good money with all of that. Okay. All right, thank you for sharing that. You know, I was talking to, I think Ms. Audrey Wallakin-Green, when she was on our show. She's the principal over at Kittrell. And so she said, I like to do hair also. So when she retired, she said, I'm going to just stick with doing people's hair, becoming a beautician. All right, thank you for sharing that. How about Tatiana?
When I want to grow up, I would be a singer, dancer, and an author.
All right, so we've got an author out of this group too. Lots of singers and dancers. And next time these children come on the show, we're going to let them sing for you. We don't have time today, but maybe we'll get to hear their voices. All right, let's go to our friend Naya.
When I grow up, I want to be a singer and a teacher.
All right, what grade do you think you might like to teach?
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten? All right, we sure need more kindergarten teachers. And how about our friend Cassidy?
I would like to be a book writer.
Be a what?
Book writer.
Oh, you like to be a book writer too, an author? All right, so we have some people here today who have been studying about authors, and we have two maybe who might be interested in becoming authors, and we have dancers, singers, and teachers. All right, so for those of you out in Radio Land, as you begin to think about your future and what you might like to do in life, just start working at it right now, because these beautiful children have done an excellent job today, coming from the Dr. Walter E. Cunningham School of Excellence. I'm going to ask the personnel who accompanied them today to introduce themselves to you one more time and tell us your title, all right? Tell us, your name is Relief?
Again, my name is Miss Naomi Moore, and I am the second grade instructional strategist.
All right, and we also have Mr.
Ryan Christopher, I'm the literacy coach.
So I'm sure that they've been working with some of these young people, and they've been doing an excellent job. And we'd also like to thank Mr. Craig Sadler, the verified principal there at the Dr. Walter Cunningham School for Excellence, and also the Waterloo Community School District, along with KBBG radio station, and all of your teachers and your family members for making the proper arrangements for you to appear on Family Rewards of Life. We'd like to thank Cassidy. We'd like to thank Naya. We'd like to thank Sanaya. We'd like to thank Tatiana and Mariana for being such great students on this show today. And with that, I'd like to say Mandina Uzuri Watoto, which means goodbye, beautiful children, in Swahili. And I'm Gloria Kirkland-Holmes, your hostess. Tune in again next week for another edition of Family Rewards of Life. Have a great day.